This week, CoinDesk is taking a closer look at how 19 cutting-edge projects are addressing problems in crypto and around the world. And joining us to discuss all of that and more is founder and CEO of Arkham, Miguel Morel. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so Arkham Intelligence hosts a relatively new platform that enables users to scrutinize blockchain addresses. It's clearly the need of the hour. How did Arkham come about?
So in 2019, I had the idea to generate a platform based off of all of the information that existed on public blockchains. I think that one of the original sort of visions for decentralized cryptocurrencies overall was the fact that they would be auditable and that many people would be able to just analyze the blockchains directly in order to get access to information. But the reality was that it was very difficult for normal people to get access to the data that existed on chain because it was highly technical. Of course, there were a number of different explorers and so on, such as Etherscan, that could be used to analyze raw blockchain data directly, but nothing that could really provide insights that were very easy to find. And so that was the original idea for why I decided to create Arkham.
That was the original reason, but what is your mission going forward? Like, what's the goal? Near term, long term, both?
So the overall vision for the project is to move blockchains from a sort of fictitious narrative of anonymous dark actors who are running around doing all kinds of illegal activity on chain without anybody being able to see them, to a world where we can have decentralized cryptocurrencies that provide a lot of value, a lot of utility, that are very easy to use and reach global adoption in a way that can actually be transparent and highly visible. Obviously, last year showed us that there were a number of very large companies that were able to kind of operate in the shadows, oftentimes potentially even doing things that may have been illegal, and no one knew, right? Many people were sort of caught with the veil over their eyes from that. And so I think that companies like Arkham will bring about the next generation of cryptocurrency users and will allow them to actually, be safe and understand what it is that they're actually investing in, trading in, what sort of platforms they're using, and what's going on in the background.
So what are some interesting takeaways that you've picked up recently from looking at blockchain analytics or blockchain data?
So I think that in general, there's been this very large movement towards the layer twos. I think that has been a very interesting find on our parts. I think when I first got started in the cryptocurrency industry, everything was on layer ones primarily, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and people were transacting and building applications on those. I think once those applications were built and ultimately the smart contracts became significantly more complicated, the networks started getting congested. Everything started becoming, significantly more expensive in order to use these different on-chain products. That's really when the demand for layer two projects started. And then afterwards, now projects such as Arbitrum, for example, have actually started to surpass layer one raw volume and actually started getting acquiring significantly more users. And so I think on-chain that has come across very, very clearly that a lot of the activity is beginning to move more towards layer twos than layer ones.
Okay. I wanted to ask you one question that you might be able to help me with, because there was an investigation going on that CoinDesk was doing. We're still kind of doing it. It's well known that several others are doing it because this is all related to the sanctions against Russian crypto enthusiasts, families, oligarchs, whoever you want to call it. This is about the sanctions that were there on Russia and that they were trying to get the money out through crypto, and people knew about wallets and addresses, but people were not being able to figure out, investigators, journalists, even agencies were not being able to figure out who's behind those wallets. I just want to understand from you how you would be able to help with that.
So at Arkham, we basically take a multifaceted approach to actually being able to gather intelligence on different users. So the first kind of primary thing is actually analyzing raw blockchain data directly. The second where we kind of take a level beyond when we actually analyze data that exists off-chain as well. So that would mean actually taking in information from a variety of different sources across the internet that could potentially point to the identity of the user overall. Many of these things are not done via manual analysis, I suppose is one of the most important parts about the Arkham platform. The overwhelming majority is actually done algorithmically. And so this can oftentimes lead to findings that a human may not have been able to see, right? Machine learning algorithms and different data science techniques can make it a lot easier to actually find this information than a human looking at it. And so from Arkham's perspective, for any kind of investigation like that, plugging in existing info, you could potentially yield results that human verification may not have found earlier on.
So you've raised money, raised about was it $12 million, and some of the funding you've gotten from also includes founders of Palantir and OpenAI. And so I guess my question here is this: I recently had a conversation with a lawyer who was saying that she's trying to track down somebody hiding a lot of crypto. Do you see ultimately kind of the blend of AI and tracing transaction on blockchains, making it easier for people to, everyone from lawyers looking for hidden money to regulators looking for hidden money? Do you think that this might end up opening up a wild amount of regulators and potentially even lawsuits, just because it'll be a lot more accessible to the general public?
Creating that accessibility is actually our goal at Arkham overall. I think that a lot of blockchain analytics and tracing companies started earlier on, mainly focusing on working with intelligence agencies or law enforcement specifically. They weren't open to a broader kind of market. And so that's actually one of the differences in our business model compared to other kinds of blockchain analytics services. We don't focus on consulting for, governments. We instead focus on building software that can be used by the general public overall. I mean, our Arkham users include, lawyers and some of the other types of people who you mentioned, but it also includes people like employees at CoinDesk who use it to write stories and to do research and to do due diligence. And so, yes, overall, I think that the blockchain analytics market as a whole, I think eventually everybody will start moving towards trying to find information on chain, not just looking at, price info, for example, and only using that kind of information to do their investigations. I think that on-chain analytics eventually will actually move to the entire world. And Arkham is kind of at the vanguard of that.
All right. Well, we're letting you go right now, but we know we're going to see you in just a short while. That was Arkham CEO and founder Miguel Morel. Thanks so much for joining us on First Mover. We'll be seeing you at Consensus next week. It's not too late also for all you viewers, anyone else, to buy your tickets at Consensus on CoinDesk.com, because you'll hear more from Miguel and many other speakers.